Hello and welcome to this important discussion on recognizing and understanding different forms of abuse. Abuse is not always visible, and it can take various forms that significantly impact a person's mental, emotional, and physical well-being. In today's video, we'll be exploring three major forms of abuse: emotional and psychological abuse, sexual abuse, and verbal abuse. Let's dive in. Let's start with emotional and psychological abuse. This type of abuse can be harder to recognize because it doesn't leave visible scars. However, it can cause deep emotional wounds that affect a woman's self-esteem, mental health, and overall well-being. Emotional abuse is often about control and manipulation, making the victim doubt herself, feel isolated, and become emotionally dependent on the abuser. Here are some examples of emotional and psychological abuse. Constant criticism or belittling. The abuser constantly puts her down, making her feel worthless. Controlling her actions. The abuser may monitor where she goes, who she talks to, or what she does. Gaslighting. This is when the abuser manipulates her into questioning her own reality or sanity. For example, making her believe that things she knows happened didn't actually happen. Threatening to harm her. Threats can take various forms, such as saying they will leave her for another woman or harm her loved ones. Silent treatment and emotional withdrawal. Refusing to talk to her or acknowledge her presence can be used as a way to punish her. Intimidation and manipulation. Using fear to control her actions and decisions. These behaviors can erode a woman's self-confidence and make her feel trapped in the relationship. Recognizing these signs is crucial to breaking the cycle of abuse. Next, let's talk about sexual abuse. Sexual abuse involves any unwanted sexual activity or coercion. It's important to remember that sexual abuse can happen even within a relationship or marriage. Here are some examples of sexual abuse. Using sex as a form of punishment or control. For example, forcing a woman to engage in sexual acts as a way to assert dominance. Withholding sex as a form of manipulation. Refusing intimacy to punish or control her behavior. Sexual abuse is a violation of a person's autonomy and can cause long-lasting trauma. It's essential to understand that consent is key in any sexual relationship, and anything that happens without mutual consent is abuse. Finally, let's discuss verbal abuse. Words have immense power, and verbal abuse can be just as damaging as physical abuse. It involves using words to hurt, blame, or control the victim. Here are some examples of verbal abuse. Blaming her for all problems. The abuser constantly tells her that she's the cause of all issues in their relationship or household. Name-calling and insults. Using derogatory language to demean and humiliate her. Yelling and screaming, intimidating her by raising their voice or shouting. Verbal abuse can leave deep emotional scars that take time to heal. Victims of verbal abuse often start to internalize the negative messages they hear, which can severely impact their mental health. In conclusion, it's important to recognize that abuse comes in many forms. Emotional, psychological, sexual, and verbal abuse can all have lasting effects on a person's well-being. If you or someone you know is experiencing any form of abuse, please seek help. There are resources and support networks available to assist you. Remember, you are not alone, and abuse is never your fault. Thank you for watching, and let's continue to raise awareness about the different forms of abuse to help create a safer and more supportive community.